Hey folks, just a bit of an update on my leveling challenge and situation in general. I currently am with a computer without a sound card right now. I literally can't actually hear anything from it. So just that editing is being a bit difficult. So instead, we're just going to try this in a different way. This is me, as you can see. I've made my way to Northrend, and this was recorded, I can't quite remember exactly when. But we just need to loot this item, so just going to stun these mobs, shockwave, make sure there's no critters, loot the item, and we're fine. As I say, I made it to Northrend and made it a bit through Outland. Outland's doing relatively okay, got about 2 levels per, about 2 zones in Outland. And I'm showing this now because this is where I make a big mistake. I want to head up inside the town, and I suddenly realise there's NPCs there, so I'm running. Unfortunately, it's too late. One of the guards has already aggroed a Geist, it's killed it, and it's given me credit. So that was my fault for using Shockwave, and like that, one decision just ends the run completely. Now I'm probably stood here, quite dumbfounded, really wondering what to do. I'm probably yelling out right now, before I head back and see the Geist that ruined the run, and the NPC that ruined the run. So here it is, you can see it sparkling, and yeah. Is that the entire run over though? For the warrior, yes, but it's not over yet. Since we're doing this in a live service game, that means we're basically playing hardcore. So since we failed, we need to start again from the start. This time though, I'm going to go for something a bit different. Last time I went for the warrior because it was going to be the hardest one. Now though, I am a Resto Druid channel, so it makes perfect sense, in my mind at least, to go for Resto Druid. Resto Druid, I'm thinking, is going to have a various number of advantages over it, other than just being a more fun class to play in my opinion. So, being Night Elf, just a night, we can't be a Worgen Druid, as we'll never get out of the starting zone. We've got such good stuff as Shadow Meld for dropping threat, gonna have Cat Form early on for a bit of speed increase, Prowl for stealth, Entangling Roots, gonna be great for just keeping mobs CC'd when you need to loot that item nearby. And not to mention all the goodies we'll get later on, like Travel Form, being able to loot items during Travel Form, a free epic mount, a free flying mount basically as well. So starting off, going to look at some of the statistics. So I did notice about pet battles before, so you can see on screen now is my current pet battles count. Pet battles are shared across all of your account, so this number is, I can't have this number at 0 on a new character without buying a new account. So this is what I've got currently at my level 1 character, which means no pet battles across any of my account, so that when I get to the end, then this is what I get to keep. Also on the statistics window, I actually noticed in the gear section you can actually tell how much artifact gear you've ever equipped. So that's pretty good. And by artifact I actually meant heirloom. But yeah, so that's pretty great for just seeing about the heirlooms and just proving that I don't have any heirlooms. So other than the fact that I'm now playing a druid, all the rules are still going to be the same for this character, but I reckon I'm going to do things a bit quicker this time round. And things, as it turns out, are quicker. This is me doing one of the quests that I couldn't actually end up doing on my warrior tool. This is looting weapons from Satyr, and it really goes to show the real power of the druid in a challenge like this. Just the ability to stealth around. Overall, I'm finding it much more fun, and it's just so much quicker really. I mean, I probably spent a bit more time playing this week than I did ever with the warrior, but I'm currently at level 58 as of this recording, and it's only been about 1.5 weeks really. So just a lot of progress really. Just get to Shadow Meld and drop out of combat. It's an absolute lifesaver, and it's really allowed me to do quests that I hadn't done before. I mean, part of this as well is also due to the experience. I'm really interested in sort of, I'd really like to look into speedrunning this. I know it's a weird speedrunning category, but I feel like my knowledge on these quests is just so good now, and it feels really good to have a niche subject to go along with the niche subject of cat weaving. So now we're looking at footage of me just towards the end. This is just sort of exploring blasted lands, and at this time I'm still a bit short on quests. So I ended up going for something I hadn't quite tried before and which I'd really tried earlier in zones, which is looking for chests. You can see there's just a silken treasure chest here. These reward the same experience as a quest when you open them. So I really wish that as I've been leveling, I'd sort of looked at Wowhead and just seen where the chests are in the various zones. But alas, I sort of left it a bit late and didn't really manage to get as much experience, despite the fact I did do 25 more quests on my druid than the warrior. Some of that is down to experience, some of that is just finding new quests. Pretty much every quest that I was unsure of before, whether I could do it or not, I tested it on a main character to see whether they'd actually get kill credit for it. And most of them you end up not getting kill credit for, so that's pretty good. There's also a few escort quests earlier on, like there's one in Darkshore, where the NPC basically doesn't actually need escorting and you can just stand back and let her do all the work. One thing that I didn't do with some escort quests though, that the NPCs were not quite as strong, was whether I could actually heal the NPCs in question, and whether that would give me credit. That's something that I, again with the chest, that I wish I'd sort of done in advance. So I think I probably could have knocked out even more quests there. And I think I've got one or two dungeon quests, just sort of go into the dungeon, that were just a bit out of my way. I think there was one for Gnome Ragan. I didn't really bother doing that much. So just while we're finishing watching me finish off here, just chatting about sort of video formats going forwards. As I say, these videos normally take quite a while to do with the editing, and when I sort of record the script and then suit the footage to the script, but that's a lot harder to do now that I can't actually hear anything coming out of my computer. So the sound is recorded on the computer, but I can't hear anything from it, which means I have to transfer audio and video over to another device once I've sort of mixed them together, which is why I'm doing this sort of recording over the footage, and why this is clearly not scripted in any way. So that's, it does sort of speed things up, even though it's also getting slowed down by having to constantly move. I'll hopefully either fix the computer very soon, or look at getting better at the format that I do things in. But with the lockdown, the computer fixing may take a bit longer than it would do otherwise, I think. Still, it's at least a style of video that I can do going forwards, and hopefully I'll get a bit better on the fly speaking. Now, as we see here, Crinny is just approaching the end. It's not Crinny at all. Coralis here is approaching her last few levels there. As with the warrior, I ended up just having to resort to mining to get the last bits of experience. But the strategy is going to be the same going forwards. Once we do hit 58, we're going to go into Outlands first. Each zone of Outland gives about 2 levels, and some of those are... The first ones are 2 levels at least. The later ones start to really fall off in their power. There's also a few dungeon quests, and that's something that you can actually complete just by sort of resetting a dungeon and looting an item relatively early on in the dungeon. The warrior had heroic leap to do it, which they could do sort of straight away. The druid here is going to have to wait at least until level 60 for mass entanglements. Going to be absolutely a brilliant ability, probably the last real ability I'm looking forward to her there, other than flight form, which should be getting acquired anytime soon. And as you can imagine, flight form is just going to speed up the entire thing. Speaking of, there you go. The ability to loot items in the air now, the ability to loot items on the ground has just been absolutely fantastic. The playtime at this point currently is 17 hours 39 minutes. Now, I didn't record the warrior, but I know for a fact that the warrior was a lot longer than that. It was about 5 hours worth, 5 weeks worth, and I spent at least 4 weeks. 4 hours. Okay, I really maybe should script these. 4 hours at least streaming plus extra time in between. You see here, you looted a few more chests, or mostly about the same chest. A lot less deaths into the single digits of deaths. And I say 25 more quests. So that'll be it for today. I will hopefully be back sometime soon. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I will hopefully be able to put out a Orgrimmar Vision guide. That's what I want to put out next, and maybe some of the Mythic Pluses. Until then, stay well, guys. And as I say, I'll keep leveling.